Hi everyone, welcome to Shuckle TV. My name is Jacob, and this is my attempt to beat a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokémon Brilliant Diamond using only Electric-type Pokémon. I'll leave my full rule list in the description, but it essentially means I can only catch the first Electric type in each area. If a Pokémon faints, it's permanently boxed. I have to play on set mode at all times. I can't use any items in battle except held items, and I cannot outlevel the next gym leader's ace Pokémon. Electric types are a relatively rare type, and though some can be really interesting, most are usually pure Electric types with very limited movesets. In the Sinnoh remakes, there are a total of 5 of these Electric-type Pokémon before the Elite Four, however not all of them are available in a Nuzlocke. Magnemite and Elekid are both in the Grand Underground, meaning I can only get one, and we're gonna pick our floating Steel Boy, so sorry to whatever Elekid is supposed to be. This means I'll only get 4 total Pokémon for the entire run. Sinnoh is also home to some monstrous Ground-type Pokémon, Electric's greatest weakness. There's a Ground-type Elite Four member, and even the Champion sports 2 terrifying Ground types. Can our little Electric types overcome this impossible challenge? Let's see. I name myself Jacob, and I name my rival Baikel, and with that, it's time to begin our journey. Just as a reminder, I'd love if you'd hit that subscribe button. I'm still just starting out, and every little bit means so much. We leave home, our mother wishes us the best, and we prepare to make our way through this world as an Electric-type trainer. None of our starter choices are viable options, so I pick Chimchar because I give my rival Infernape way too often and he's not allowed to have my Turtwig. After a bit of dialogue, I eventually reach Route 202 where I catch my first encounter, a Shinx. I name him Ed. This is legitimately the first one I found and it is amazing. Adamant with Intimidate? After a lot of grinding, I eventually make my way up to Jubilife City, get a Pokéetch, and prepare to take on Baikel in our first real Nuzlocke fight of the run. Luckily, he's terrible at this, and we easily beat him. I then grind for hours on Route 202 to maximize my EV gains in HP, speed, attack, and defense to give us the best chance at fighting the Rock Gym. You gain EVs of a specific type for killing certain Pokemon, whatever their highest base stat is, and a number usually equal to their evolutionary stage. Though early contributions are minor, we can raise our stats in this way. I then head to Orberg City and prepare to fight Rourke, the first gym leader. Rourke is honestly the toughest first gym leader out of all of the Pokemon games, and the remakes have given his Pokemon powerful updated moves. He is the only first gym leader to have 3 Pokemon other than Roxanne in Emerald, and his Gyarados is a monster, way scarier than a Nosepass. This one is also packing Bulldoze, meaning if it attacks, Shinx will die. Geodude also has early rollout now, meaning if it doesn't miss, get interrupted, or knocked out, it will annihilate everything in its path in just a few turns. Geodude falls and Onix comes out next, but we are very low on health. Leer brings down his defense, but his Rock Throw leaves us at 6 HP. I go for Bite. It doesn't flinch, and his next Rock Throw takes out Shinx. That's attempt 1 over. Attempt 2, our new Shinx is Winry, and she has a brave nature, raising her attack and lowering her speed. I do forget to turn on battle animations here, but a flinch from Bite manages to interrupt the second turn of Rollout, allowing us an easy kill on Geodude without losing much health. Because of our nature, Onix is faster than Shinx. We are holding a Quick Claw that gives us a 20% chance of acting first, but it never activates, so Onix takes us out with just a few Rock Throws. You're about to see a few differently named Shinx. See if you can figure out the naming theme for this run. Attempt 3 is a faster Shinx named Hawkeye who barely breaks through the Geodude before getting taken down by a single Rock Throw from Onix. Attempt 4 is a docile Shinx named Mustang, and it goes terribly, not even beating the Geodude. Attempt 5 is with a Shinx named Winry, and we make it to Onix, but things aren't going well. Winry does manage to evade a Rock Throw not once, but twice during the fight. But Onix is healed by a potion, and eventually we do fall to a final Rock Throw. Attempt 6, Hawkeye the Shinx dies to a Geodude. On to attempt 7. So there are 3 strategies through this fight that I can see, all of which do require some degree of luck. This route, where I rely on outspeeding and flinching the target enough times. Another option is getting a lucky egg through the lottery in Jubilife to potentially reach level 16 during the battle and learn Spark as well as gain stats to fight Gyarados. And then option 3 is to max out Friendship to abuse the affection system, but I refuse to rely on this method, and I can say for a fact that no battles in this video are won due to the affection system. A third bite finishes off the Onix. We've never been past this point before. Gyarados comes out. We go for a bite. It crits, but it doesn't flinch, and a Bulldoze takes us out. We would have won if Bite flinched there. We don't talk about attempt 8. Attempt 9 starts like any other, but I decide to just spam Bite for flinches instead of leading with Leer on Geodude. We flinch Geodude not once, but twice, and take it down to red without taking much damage, and then we avoid a rollout. I Leer during the turn that Rourke potions since we can't flinch it if it's not attacking. Next turn we actually get a third flinch from Bite, and after that, one more Bite takes down the Geodude. Onix comes out next, and I do start with Leer because its defenses are massive, and it's less threatening than the Geodude. We don't manage to flinch it, and we get crit by a rock throw, leaving us low, but that doesn't matter much. Gyarados would one-shot us from full health if it gets to attack. A third Bite takes out the Onix, and we're on to Rourke's ace Gyarados. I click Bite. Gyarados flinches. I click Bite again. Gyarados flinches a second time, just barely hanging on. Rourke heals him though, but a potion isn't enough to fully recover, and 2 more Bites take down the Gyarados, giving us our first gym badge. Our incredible flinching monstrosity then gets a well-earned evolution. We then meet up with Rowan, and he gently reminds us of just how long it took to beat that first gym. I then reach Floaroma Town and prepare to get my next encounter at Valley Windworks. I catch a Pachirisu, and isn't it crazy? This is already half of my encounters for the entire game. I name him Armstrong, and then prepare to take on Commander Mars in Valley Windworks. It's an easy fight, as a few Sparks from Hawkeye handle the Purugly, and Spark makes short work of Zubat as well. With that, we have saved one smelly scientist. I then head to Eterna Forest and team up with Cheryl. Fun tip, try to fight most double battles as individual fights by talking to one of the trainers. It's much safer. I eventually reach Eterna City and can now access the Sinnoh Underground, meaning I can get one more encounter before the second gym. I eventually run into a Magnemite and I name him Alphonse. After beating the gym trainers and doing a lot of training, I'm ready to take on Gardenia, the second gym leader. The plan is to conserve health on Magnemite and Luxio in order to deal with Roserade, so I let Pachirisu slowly deal with the Cherubi. After Nuzzle paralyzes, I slowly whittle it down with Swifts, and when it's low enough, Gardenia heals it back to full, and I pelt it with another onslaught of Meteor Showers. She then heals it again.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
And Cherubi is dead. Turtwig comes out next, and I paralyze it with a Nuzzle. It then hits us with a critical Razor Leaf, so next turn I go with Charm, and he ends up fully paralyzed. I then switch to Hawkeye to land an Intimidate and slowly take the Turtwig down. He sets up a Reflect, so I go for a Charge in order to boost my special defense since it also has Grass Knot. Turtwig is paralyzed, and then I go for Bite, which flinches him. I bite again, and he sets up Workup. Bite flinches him again, Reflect wears off, and then another Bite takes out Turtwig. Gardenia sends out her ace Roserade next, and I switch to Alphonse, who can easily tank a few hits. Roserade hits a Petal Blizzard while I go for Thunder Wave to slow it down, and I start going for Electro Balls, which don't do much damage, but do help whittle down the Roserade's health. Eventually Alphonse is brought too low, and I have to switch over to Hawkeye. Roserade is fully paralyzed on the switch, which is great, and then Luxio lands a Bite that deals a lot of damage, but activates Roserade's Citrus Berry, and then Roserade hits us with a Grass Knot that does way more damage than I was expecting. Without any safe switches, I have to hope for a flinch crit or paralysis. Roserade does flinch. Next turn, another Bite finishes it off. That was way too close of a call. After making our way through the Eterna Galactic building, we eventually run into Commander Jupiter, but her Zubat lead is no threat. Armstrong takes it out with a single Spark, but then comes in the terrifying Skuntank with Flamethrower. Alphonse has to sit this fight out. A Nuzzle paralyzes Skuntank, and then it ends up being fully paralyzed. Nuzzle's such a good move. I switch to Hawkeye, anticipating a Poison Gas. Skuntank poisons us, but my Pecaberry cures the poison, and now that I don't have a held item, I can use Thief in order to steal Skuntank's Citrus Berry. Skuntank then hits us with a powerful Flamethrower. Next turn I use Charge to boost my special defense as well as double the power of my next move if it's electric. Skuntank poisons us in return, and then next turn a Spark deals a massive hit to Skuntank just shy of knocking it out. We take a Flamethrower, dropping us below half health, so the Citrus Berry activates and heals us a lot. Spark takes out the Skuntank and we live through the aftermath. That's Jupiter down, and as a reward, we're given a bicycle, which I immediately use to progress like an absolute lunatic. It's always nice not fighting trainers. I then use a Super Repel to safely navigate through Mount Coronet, but unfortunately it only works on Pokemon, not creepy men. I reach Hardhome City and accidentally ran into my rival. Luckily, he still sucks. Through a combination of Nuzzle and Electro Ball, Pachirisu can annihilate all of his Pokemon. Electro Ball does damage based on your speed in proportion to your opponent's, and Pachirisu is very fast. Nuzzle's Paralysis also halves the opponent's speed, which leads to some very fun early game power. After visiting Amity Square with my adorable electric squirrel, I gain the ability to run around with my Pokemon. I then begin my journey to get my final team member, Pikachu. Here is where I am. Here is where Pikachu is. And here is the only route to get there. The path beneath Heartholme is blocked until much later in the game. On my way, I remember to collect Strength from Lost Tower. Upon reaching Veilstone, I buy a ton of TMs, including many copies of Thunderbolt. I reach Pastoria City, but this isn't our final stop. I press on through Route 212 until I finally reach Mr. Backlot's Trophy Garden. It's here our long journey is finally graced with a Pikachu, our final team member, Edward. After training up some team members, it's time to take on the third gym. The fourth gym. Gotta watch those level caps. So we do the water gym, then the fighting gym, since both aces are level 30. I tested out if you could permanently steal trainer-held items, but unfortunately it doesn't work. Gyarados then gets taken down by a spark. Quagsire comes out next, and he's ground type, meaning he is immune to electric moves, but Pachirisu and Pikachu can both learn the TMs for Grass Knot, which we got from the second gym. Grass Knot nearly wipes out the Quagsire, and we heal a bit from our Shell Bell. Even though our speed keeps falling, Pachirisu's a lot faster than Quagsire, so another Grass Knot finishes the job. Floatzel comes out last, and is honestly pretty scary. I switch to Magnemite, but on the switch, a Brine brings us below half health, and an Oranberry heals us. The next Brine leaves us with 1 HP, but Alphonse retaliates with a Thunderbolt and one-shots the Floatzel. Okay, these gym fights are getting way too close. As I make my way back to the fighting gym, Magnemite undergoes mitosis and evolves into Magnemites. Soon after that, Hawkeye evolves into a Luxray, and we are ready to take on the fighting gym. We start the fight with Maylene, and she leads Meditite, and I lead with Armstrong the Pachirisu. A first turn Nuzzle paralyzes the Meditite, and it goes for a Light Screen, which with our strategy is not going to matter. After that, our adorable little squirrel spams Charm, dropping Meditite's attack stat into oblivion while he is helpless to defend himself. I then switch to Hawkeye the Luxray and set up a substitute to protect us from Flash, and then begin the scummy Lieutenant Surge patented strategy achievable only when one has reached the epitome of being an electric-type trainer. Double Team spam. Double Team raises evasion by 1 stage, and I let Hawkeye become faster than life, shaking with such incredible vigor that she becomes incredibly difficult to hit. It's disgusting. The second spark knocks Meditite out, and then Machoke comes in next, and our first spark deals over half of his health and paralyzes him, and then he's fully paralyzed. The Paraflinch hacks never quit with Hawkeye. Another spark finishes it off. Lucario comes in last, we outspeed, and Spark does over half its health, and wouldn't you know it, it paralyzes it too. Next turn, another Spark wipes out the Lucario, giving us our 4th gym badge. Maylene is not pleased with our methods, but it gets the job done. After that, I head to the clothing shop and get an outfit that properly reflects an electric-type trainer such as myself. Unfortunately, upon closer inspection, it seems I got the Wish.com version of what I was looking for. I then head to Mount Coronet, where I can level up Alphonse to evolve him into a Magnezone. I then trek north, clear some incredibly dense fog, and reach Celestic Town, meeting Cynthia's grandma, and more importantly, meeting the Surf TM. Turns out Pikachu can use Surf in this game. I then use the Verse Seeker to con an old woman out of her fortune so I can buy drugs for my yellow electric mouse to make it hurt things better. After proving I can handle children's math problems, Fantina the 5th gym leader is willing to take me on. As a ghost-type specialist, she leads with Drifblim, and I lead with Alphonse the Magnezone. Drifblim uses Strength Zap for some reason, lowering the physical attack of my special attacker, and I set up a substitute. I go for a Thunderbolt next turn, but Drifblim uses Hex and it breaks my substitute. Thunderbolt one-shots Drifblim thanks to Magnezone's monstrous special attack stat, and then Shell Bell heals us. Gengar comes out next and hits us with a Confuse Ray, but I break through the confusion and set up a substitute. This is great because Gengar and Mismagius both have terrible movesets for fighting a Steel-type Pokemon. A single Thunderbolt almost knocks out the Gengar, but then gets disabled by her ability Cursed Body. Gengar is healed by a Hyper Potion, but Flash Cannon brings her back down to the red, and then Fantina heals her again, but this time Flash Cannon crits and one-shots the Gengar. Mismagius comes out last, but her best move to hit us is a 2-turn Phantom Force, meaning we can substitute on alternating turns, effectively winning this battle already. Thunderbolt crits and deals massive damage, almost taking the Mismagius out, and then soon after a Flash Cannon finishes the job. That's 5 badges down. I finally managed to get a Thunderstone to evolve Edward the Pikachu into a Raichu. Our final team is complete. And then at the move relearner, Raichu gets Nasty Plot, a move that will allow us to get through many otherwise impossible fights. We make our way to Canalave City, we heal up and head straight to the gym. Byron leads the Steel Focus 6th gym. This is probably the easiest gym fight in the entire game because Magnezone is effectively invincible against all 3 of Byron's Pokemon. Provided you have a specific move. Magnet Rise. Magnet Rise is a status move that causes the user to float in the air, levitating for 5 turns, becoming immune to ground-type moves. Byron's Steelix has Earthquake, but other than that, all of his Pokemon only have Sandstorm, which we're immune to, or Steel and Electric moves that we massively resist, and then Bastiodon has Stone Edge, but we also resist that. Bronzor does have Confuse Ray and Trick Room, but these are minor nuisances at best. As long as Magnet Rise is set up on Bronzor after it uses Trick Room, we are perfectly safe from Steelix's Earthquakes because they both last 5 turns, and if Trick Room is gone, we can outspeed and Magnet Rise against Steelix. That happens here, and Steelix wastes his turn Earthquaking us as we Magnet Rise and float. Flash Cannon isn't great against Steelix, but Steelix eventually goes down. Bastiodon comes out last, but it has nothing to hit Magnezone. Thunderbolt deals over half its health, but it heals with a Citrus Berry and then retaliates with Iron Defense, which does nothing in this situation. A couple more uncontested Thunderbolts and Bastiodon falls, giving us our 6th gym badge. We then head to Canalave Library where we meet up with Professor Rowan, Dawn, and Baikel, and then Rowan gives us explicit and perhaps slightly unfair instructions about our next task. We then meet Team Galactic's Commander Saturn at Lake Valor, but as I don't have 6 Bibarel in my party, the fight's pretty easy. At Lake Verity, we easily take down Mars and her Purugly before heading north down the treacherous snowy path to Snowpoint City and the 7th gym. Just before the gym, I head underground to swipe leftovers from some Munchlax because it is one of the best held items in the game. After solving the ice puzzle in the gym, we prepare to fight Candace. She leads with Snover while I lead with Alphonse, and I have a very fun strategy for this fight. Snover's Snow Warning sets up Hail, and as it turns out, Magnezone can learn the TM for Sunny Day. So bye bye Winter Skies. Snover's best move for hitting us is Water Pulse, and that becomes extra weak. A single Flash Cannon knocks it out. I just didn't want to deal with the residual hail damage. Sneasel comes out next and goes for Hone Claws. It immediately falls to a Flash Cannon. Up next is the real problem of the team, Candace's Ice Psychic fighting Medicham. This thing has huge power and a stab Brick Break, so we're gonna have to weaken it because I need Alphonse the Magnezone to be the one who kills it. After Hawkeye's switch lands an Intimidate, I Volt Switch out to bring Armstrong safely in, and then I lead with Charm to further lower Medicham's attack, easily tanking the Brick Break it returns. Nuzzle then paralyzes it next turn, slowing it down, but the turn after, Candace full restores and we charm the Medicham again. A Nuzzle paralyzes Medicham once more and he goes for Bulk Up, which is fine, he's still at -4 attack. I land another charm to put him at -6 and then U-turn out to Alphonse and Medicham is fully paralyzed. A Flash Cannon almost knocks him out and then Brick Break still hits us pretty hard at -6 attack. Candace uses a Hyper Potion healing Medicham, but it doesn't cure the paralysis, so we're still faster, and then 2 Flash Cannons take him out. Abomasnow, her ace, comes out last, and Alphonse had to be the one to beat Medicham because we are not going to let Abomasnow play the game. Magnet Rise makes us levitate, and Abomasnow goes for Earthquake, having no effect, and then we go for Sunny Day, removing the hail, while Abomasnow goes for Aurora Veil, a move that only works during the hail. Next turn, a single Flash Cannon one-shots the Abomasnow. Poor Abomasnow, but that's our 7th badge. We then go support Baikel at Lake Acuity. We then head to Veilstone to break into the Team Galactic base, raid their warehouses, and tactically sneak past their guards. After making our way through the base, we run into the leader Cyrus, but he's quite easy at this point. He mostly has flying types. It's now time to stop Cyrus's ultimate plan. We head into Mount Coronet from Route 207, and with both Surf and Rock Climb, we are now able to make our way all the way through Mount Coronet to its peak, Spear Pillar, fighting some galactic grunts along the way. We reach the peak, but it's already too late. Cyrus has unleashed Dialga, the Dog of Time. We then have to team up with Baikel to take on 2 of Team Galactic's commanders at once. This fight isn't particularly difficult, but I had to box Raichu because it was close to 49, and after this fight you have to fight Cyrus immediately without being able to change your party order. This means I have to lead Magnezone for this fight even though I don't want to because I have to have Magnezone lead against Cyrus. The fight ended up being super easy though. Anyway, moving on to Cyrus, who often is a pretty scary fight. Cyrus has some very powerful Pokemon with good movesets and items, but unfortunately for him, all of his Pokemon are bad against a Magnezone. Gyarados will come out next, and it has Earthquake, so we set up Magnet Rise first. A single Thunderbolt next turn one-shots the Honchkrow. Gyarados comes out next, and I'm legitimately surprised that I outsped it for some reason, but a single Thunderbolt takes it down even though the Wakan Berry it's holding halves electric damage. Weavile is Cyrus's ace and also has a ground move, but it's Dig, a 2-turn move, and we have Protect, meaning it can't hit us. It flings its berry though, and then dies to a Flash Cannon. Questionable choices, Cyrus. Crobat comes out last, and wouldn't you know it, isn't able to do anything to a Magnezone and then falls to a single Thunderbolt. Definitely the shortest Cyrus fight I've had. This was only the beginning though. Dialga, the master of time itself, is still waiting for us. We need to stop this all-powerful monster. This will be a hard battle, requiring incredible strategy, unparalleled move choices, immeasurable luck, and we flee. Successfully. That's it. The threat has been stopped and Dialga has been defeated? Yes? Yes. Rowan is absolutely dumbfounded at our incredible battling prowess. We then head to Sunyshore City, but we're stopped by McDonald's mascot. This clown wastes a bit of our time before we quickly make our way to the 8th and final gym. Volkner actually also specializes in electric types, but he's really bad at it. He only has 2 electric types. Even we were able to get 4, and we had to choose between Magnemite and Elekid. Anyway, his Raichu unfortunately has Surf, making it a little bit annoying, so we set up a light screen with Armstrong. While I could have in hindsight switched to Magnezone and just swept through the fight here, I wanted Volkner to understand the difference between us. So I sent in Edward for a Raichu off to demonstrate to him just how much potential he has been wasting with his electric types. The Raichus then get into a surfing competition, but Volkner's is no match and gets washed away. His totally an electric type monkey comes in next, and this is where Magnezone makes his appearance. What's interesting is Volkner is not good against physically defensive electric type Pokemon. Ambipom, having nothing to hit us, goes for Thunderbolt for laughable damage, while we retaliate with a Thunderbolt one-shotting it. Octillery comes out next, but we outspeed it and a single Thunderbolt annihilates it. All that's left is Luxray, who does have Crunch to hit us for some somewhat decent neutral damage, but we have Tri-Attack, and while not incredibly powerful, still hits much harder than Luxray's Crunch. And we have Passive Recovery on our side, as well as Rest, Protect, and 3 Pokemon in the back. Alternating between Protect and Tri-Attack gives us great recovery and damage. Another Tri-Attack knocks Luxray into red, and then a third Tri-Attack finishes him off. It's kind of poetic that Volkner lost his passion for battling, but then had it reignited by someone who also only uses electric-type Pokemon. With Waterfall now available to us, we head north of Sunyshore and gain access to Victory Road, the final gauntlet of powerful trainers. Well, usually. Sinnoh Victory Road is actually quite easy because of the level curve. Volkner had a level 49 ace, and the Elite Four's final ace is 63, meaning I can level a ton before entering Victory Road, which I do, which makes the fights a cakewalk. We carefully follow some bridges, making our way through the cave, eventually struggling slightly with the exit, but ultimately escaping. We have reached the Pokemon League. There are only 6 fights left in the game. I make a few changes to my movesets and prepare myself for the final rival fight. The final rival fight in Gen 4 actually has one of the best teams out of all of the main series games, except for one thing. He is massively under-leveled compared to the Elite Four. Nuzzle paralyzes the Staraptor and breaks its Focus Sash, but then it U-turns out and sends in Snorlax. Because I gave the rival Piplup, Snorlax actually has a powerful ground-type move here. I go for Charm to weaken it, but it goes for Yawn. I considered switching, but decided it was best to paralyze with Nuzzle instead, and Snorlax ended up yawning again, so it was a good move. I thought, maybe I can get Pachirisu to wake up if Snorlax yawns while I'm asleep, expecting a switch. He goes for high horsepower though, so I need to switch out. Hawkeye has Intimidate to further cripple the Snorlax and easily tanks a non-critical high horsepower. Next turn, Spark crits and deals a lot of damage, but then Snorlax crits as well, tearing through Luxray's HP. We do just barely live, and then Spark next turn finishes off the Snorlax. Rapidash comes out next and I can definitely tank a hit, and we do, but crit Megahorn would have killed us. Spark hits the Rapidash super hard, and then I send in Alphonse to tank the next Megahorn, but it misses, so then I pivot to Raichu expecting a Flame Wheel. It doesn't hit Edward too hard, and Leftovers helps us recover, and next turn we outspeed, and a single Thunderbolt finishes off the Rapidash. Staraptor comes back out, but it's paralyzed, so I take this time to set up a nasty plot, and Staraptor gets fully paralyzed, never punished. A single Thunderbolt next turn strikes down the Staraptor. Roserade comes out next and is a bit annoying because Grass resists every move Raichu can learn, but a boosted Thunderbolt still deals over half. It then falls to another Thunderbolt. Heracross comes out next, and while a great Pokemon, cannot take a powered up Thunderbolt. Baikel's ace Empoleon comes out last, but being the water type that it is, gets fried by a Thunderbolt. And that marks the end for Baikel. We can effectively eliminate the affection system on each of our Pokemon by using 8 energy roots before entering the Elite Four. These are the movesets I'm entering the Elite Four with, but I have some TMs to make changes between fights. You may be wondering about some questionable doubled up types on these move choices, and I assure you there is a good reason. With that, it's finally time for us to take these 4 Pokemon in and find out whether or not we can become champion with just electric type Pokemon. Aaron is up first and uses bug types. Honestly, one of my favorite 3 types, the others being poison and grass. He leads with a Dustox and we lead with Armstrong. We go for a Nuzzle first to paralyze, and Dustox sets up Light Screen. This is fantastic. Next turn we set up our own Light Screen, and I have a Light Clay to make it last 8 turns, while Dustox goes for Toxic. Now that we're poisoned, it won't use Toxic again, so I can safely switch to Edward and easily tank a Bug Buzz. Behind Light Screen it does almost nothing, and we have leftovers to heal. I set up a Substitute because it blocks status moves, preventing Dustox from using Toxic here. Now here's an interesting interaction. Bug Buzz is a sound-based move, and sound-based moves ignore Substitute. This is actually great because it means that Dustox with only Bug Buzz can never break our Substitute and therefore never poison us. This allows me to easily set up 3 Nasty Plots in quick succession, quadrupling our special attack stat. Even behind a Light Screen, there is not a single Pokemon on Aaron's team that can tank a Thunderbolt from this powered up orange Pikachu. That's the first Elite Four member down. Now you might be thinking, how am I supposed to beat the Ground type Elite Four member? Ground is immune to Electric, and they're super effective against all my Pokemon. Well, there were effectively 2 routes of doing this, and by far the safer option is letting Alphonse do that little thing where he temporarily floats in the air. Magnet Rise is our safe counter to Bertha. We nullify the first Earthquake from Quagsire, and now most of Bertha's Pokemon have no good moves to hit Magnezone effectively. Yes, I'll have to repeatedly refresh Magnet Rise, but we outspeed all of her Pokemon, so it's totally safe. A second Tri-Attack takes out Quagsire. I have Tri-Attack and Flash Cannon to deal with her Ground and Rock types, respectively. I'm holding a Leftovers for periodic healing, and have Protect, just in case I need to stall out a tiny bit of extra healing. Golem's Sturdy here does protect it from the Flash Cannon one-shots, but that's fine because it wastes Bertha's healing items and allows us to heal from leftovers. So even though Magnet Rise wore off here, I specifically go for Flash Cannon to bring Golem back to no health, because Golem's the only threat in this fight, because if it somehow Rock Polished to boost speed and then Magnet Rise wore off, I'd be in trouble. Also, by using Magnet Rise on a turn where Golem can attack, I also force him to waste his attack on Earthquake, which I am now immune to. After finishing it off, Whiskosh comes out next, but Tri-Attack deals more than half its health with a crit, and then a second Tri-Attack is enough to finish it off. Sudowoodo comes out next, but is blinded by a single Flash Cannon, leaving only Bertha's ace, Hippowdon. It sets up a Sandstream, but as a Steel type we take no damage. Our Magnet Rise is worn off, so I have to use it again, which causes Hippowdon to waste its turn with Earthquake. From there it can't touch us, and 2 Flash Cannons are enough to finish the fight. That's 2 Elite Four members down. The third Elite Four member is Ronald McDonald, and the wiki says he specializes in Fire-type Pokemon, but I don't really think 2 cuts it. Rapidash lands a turn 1 Hypnosis, putting Armstrong to sleep, but I'm holding a Chesto Berry which wakes us up, and then I land a Nuzzle, paralyzing the Rapidash. Next turn I use Charm to begin lowering its attack. It misses Hypnosis here, which is nice, so we land a second Charm, putting it at -4 attack. Flame Charge raises its speed, which could be a problem. I switch over to Edward to set up a Substitute, but a second Flame Charge raises its speed again and invalidates the 50% speed loss from paralysis. Next turn it outspeeds, uses Poison Jab, and the 10% poison chance works. This is worst case scenario. We may have Substitute and Leftovers, but Poison deals twice as much damage as Leftovers recovers, and I haven't set up Nasty Plot yet. This puts Edward on a timer, and that final Infernape is going to be that much more difficult now. Rapidash's second Poison Jab doesn't break our Substitute, and Surf one-shots it. Lopunny comes out next, and we outspeed, but it somehow lives a boosted Thunderbolt and then lands a high jump kick and takes out our Substitute. Our health is really ticking down from poison now, but another Thunderbolt finishes off Lopunny. Steelix comes out next, but it's slow and has bad special defense, so a single Surf wipes it out. Drifloon comes out 4th, and a single Thunderbolt is more than a match for this blimp. Poison has brought Edward into the red with just 24 HP left. You've done amazing, little dude. Infernape is powerful, so I switched to Luxray to Intimidate and tank the incoming hit, but because Raichu is so low, he actually Mach Punches, which is great. It leaves Hawkeye with a ton of HP, so I switched to Pachirisu to tank the incoming close combat. I then considered using Baby Doll Eyes because it's priority and lowers attack, but Nuzzle will help more and Pachirisu is dead to a critical hit either way. I then switch Hawkeye back in, landing another Intimidate, and take minor damage from a Mach Punch. The pivoting couldn't have worked out better against Infernape here. With the close combat drops and Infernape's natural frailty, a single spark is enough to take it down. That's 3 members down and only 2 fights left to go. Lucian, the final member of the Elite Four, specializes in psychic types, but it's much easier to set up against him than in the prior fight because Mr. Mime, his lead, always goes for Reflect and Light Screen. Armstrong paralyzes with a Nuzzle, and then he sets up a Light Screen, and the next turn, I do the same. We're both holding Light Clay, so they'll last 8 turns. He goes for Psychic and it deals negligible damage to Pachirisu. I switch into Edward the Raichu because it's now time to set up. Psychic hits us on the switch for 42 damage, and this is actually super important because Raichu has 170 health. This amount, when broken into quarters and rounded up, is 43 HP, and that's how much health Substitute takes to set up, and once it receives that much, that's when it breaks. I set up Nasty Plot, and Mr. Mime stays paralyzed. Well, I set up a second Nasty Plot, and Mr. Mime is paralyzed again. Man, I love the paralysis cheese in this run. I set up a final Nasty Plot to guarantee nothing lives through a Thunderbolt, but Mr. Mime lands a Psychic this turn that high rolls, and because the moves have a small damage range, it breaks my Substitute. This is fine though, I set up another Substitute, and Mr. Mime low rolls with his Psychic and doesn't break it. This fight is as good as over now. Their Light Screen also wears off this turn. Thunderbolt one-shots Mr. Mime, and then Lucian sends in Medicham, and it goes down to a single hit as well, and then Alakazam comes out. Alakazam is faster, and the reason we wanted Substitute up, but he goes for Future Sight, and then a Thunderbolt eliminates him. Guess he didn't see that coming. Lovely Girafarig comes out next, and gets electrified, leaving only Lucian's ace, Bronzong. That dingling can't handle the electricity coursing through him, and he falls, leaving only the champion left. I am terrified. Cynthia commands the most powerful team in all of Sinnoh, and more than that, has what is likely the strongest Pokemon in the region who also happens to be a Ground-type Pokemon. Nothing on my team outspeeds it, and Garchomp can one-shot everyone with Earthquake. I also have to get through 5 other Pokemon, none of which are pushovers either. Bring it on. Cynthia leads with Spiritomb, and that is her weak link. We can't sweep her team, but we can build momentum off Spiritomb. I lead with Armstrong and go for a Light Screen. This will last 8 turns and have special attack damage. While her Spiritomb is specially focused, it has one physical move, Sucker Punch, and with Light Screen it sees Sucker Punch as the most damaging move, so it's going to focus on using that. I switch in Edward and Sucker Punch fails. It's a priority dark move that only works if the opponent is attacking back. It has 5 PP, meaning that while Light Screen is up, Spiritomb should only go for Sucker Punch, which gives us time to set up Substitute and 3 Nasty Plots to power up Raichu to his strongest form, while giving leftovers time to heal up the damage we take from Substitute. Spiritomb has now used up all 5 Sucker Punch PP, and since he won't out-prioritize us anymore, we surf and it one-shots the Ghost Globe? I don't really know what Spiritomb is. Gastrodon comes out next, but Raichu has Grass Knot, which easily one-shots it. Our Light Screen wears off, and Roserade comes in next. Unfortunately, I only had room for 2 damaging moves, so this means that Roserade's able to tank the Surf and then retaliate with an Energy Ball that breaks our Substitute. A second Surf is enough to overwater that flower. Problem number 1 arises here. Milotic comes out instead of Lucario. If Milotic was second last, I could set up Magnezone against it in order to beat Garchomp thanks to Magnet Rise. I think maybe it'll go Mirror Coat, but it doesn't, and it breaks the Substitute I set up, so I have to Grass Knot and take it down. Lucario comes out next, and I hope maybe it'll Nasty Plot, so I go for a Substitute, and he actually does go for Nasty Plot. This means we can take it out, and it can't kill us, and maybe there's a chance she's dumb enough to use it twice? Oh my goodness, it does. We are going to have a Substitute up going into the Garchomp fight. One big wave washes away the Lucario, leaving only one final monster in our path. Surf can't one-shot Garchomp though, and it'll outspeed, break our sub with Earthquake, and kill us next turn. My plan is to use Surf to put Garchomp in red, switch out to Luxray, landing Intimidate when Cynthia heals, use Luxray and Pachirisu to protect, Baby Doll Eyes, and Intimidate to stall out Earthquake so that we Oh. Well, that'll work too. Edward lands the most important critical hit of his life and has done the impossible. He swept Cynthia. We beat Garchomp. No one had to be sacrificed. No one had to die. I like to think that my other strategy would have worked, but we'll never know. There is one thing I do know though. We became the champion of Sinnoh with just 4 electric-type Pokemon. This was probably the most difficult challenge I've done yet, and I have to say it feels good. Thanks for watching. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you'd like to see more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Thank you everyone. This has been Shuckle TV.